love fiction because it allows you to take real life moments and and put them together, and let them manifest into a piece of art. And um, I think the fiction is like the art of storytelling on the screen. It's it's like when you're doing a painting, you take things from your reality and you express it, creatively. And I think yeah, it's a very similar thing when you make a film.
Your film Limbo is opening in the US and Canada very soon. Does those things make you nervous, or you're done with the film and you're promoting, but you have a new baby there coming, or what? How does it
Uh,
work?
Well, these days, I think I'm just done with the world, actually. So, so I'm not too worried, um, done with the film and everything else. Um, yeah, I, we were in Berlinale again this for the first time in such a long time, and with this film, and so that was an amazing experience to go back to the Berlinale, and but as you know, the film has been released in Australia already, and I think you gauge how much traction your film will get, when you have your first release. And so I'm not hoping for too much anyway. I'm just glad it's getting a release over there because it's difficult in North America to have any kind of release. There's so much competition over there. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
And the market is very tough, no, in North America.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a black and white film too. That doesn't help that much, but yeah, I am heading towards more commercial projects down for my next few films.
I think the fact that it's black and white, it give him more I don't know how more credibility because it the black and white mixes very well with the landscape, which for me is also a character.
Mm.
The road movie, the desert, the black and white, the noirish part of the story. So I think it was a good idea to do a black and white. Do you agree, or
Yeah,
what do you think?
yeah. No, it felt right. It just the location. It's very good for black and white from a aesthetic point of view, but also for this particular story. It also I think it suits it very well because you have these people kind of living in the past, like they're living in a black and white photograph, and they can't move, and you're not really sure what time it is.
In a way, they're all stuck 20 years ago. And
Mm.
then this the guy comes and tries to bring the past into now to solve something that happened, right? Or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And would you tell us a little about the concept of everything seems paralyzed? The characters, the heat. Nobody wants to talk about what happened because they don't trust the institutions, which is
Yeah.
obviously normal.
Well, it is something that's come from my own life experience within my family. My
Yeah.
family have experienced several crimes, and the victims, the Indigenous family, as the victims, a lot of the time the police response, the justice system responds very slowly when it comes to Indigenous people in this country when they are victims of crime. So this story is very much come from my own personal family. We had several women murdered within our family, and the police response was very poor. And this like incredible location in Coober Pedy in South Australia, it's this very damaged landscape from all of the mining there. And there are a lot of holes in the ground where you can get rid of things and you can, hide your secrets. And so it felt like the perfect place for this type of story. And the characters are also damaged themselves, and I think there's a connection between this damaged land and the damaged people.
And I guess the history of Australia too could be very damaging because of the uh, I will call it genocide. I don't know if there's the
Yeah,
strong
yeah,
there was the no
yeah. Attempted genocide. Yeah, it's been going on since colonization started in Australia.
since the beginning. Is it still going?
In different forms, I think so. Yeah, and uh, the indigenous people in Australia have still got a lot of issues to deal with within themselves, but the 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 non-indigenous Australia is really not very sympathetic to indigenous people at all, really. And last year we had a referendum in Australia where Australia had a chance to include Indigenous people within the Australian Constitution, and the answer was a very big no. And
That's
I mean,
incredible.
it's incredible. You know, we've been here
And
for
it's not their
60,000.
country. I mean,
Right. I mean, we've been here for 60,000 years, and we're still not part of the, the constitution of the country. So, I mean, that's where we're at.
it's
So hopefully
incredible.
films like this can, I don't know, add help this in some way of, people get more educated about, um, you know, the whole situation.
Yeah, also Limbo. Limbo, I love the title because in a way that particular uh life, that particular situation, everybody's in limbo. The life
Mm.
stopped 20 years ago. The crime was not solved, and then comes this white cop who looks more like a drug dealer, but he's trying. Uh, I don't know. So limbo is. Why did you call it limbo?
Well, it's obvious, it's like,
Yeah,
I think I had the name Limbo very early on when I was writing the script, and because I look at my family, and my family are in a limbo because we've had a lot of crimes happen within our family, and we haven't had closure, you know, and we haven't had closure because the justice system don't take Indigenous people seriously when it comes to being victims of crime. The justice system is more about locking up Aboriginal people, putting them in jail. That's
of
that's
course.
what that's their job as the justice system instead of helping. So it's like they don't understand what to do. It's like I should be locking you up, but you want me to work for you?
It's like total schizophrenic.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and
fucked up. Uh, Let me ask you, how did you cast the movie, the film? They're great actors there.
yeah, yeah. Some characters, like for Rob Collins, who plays Charlie, the
Yeah,
brother,
yeah.
he was there from the beginning when I started to write the story. So I wrote that character for him, and Natasha Wanganeen, who plays Emma, she was someone who stood out to me because she is a local person from that area, and she has a very strong physical presence. And so I was very keen for her to be involved to help the film feel like um, these people are from this place. And Simon Baker, he he read the script at one point and just said he wants to do it immediately within one day. He read it and said he wants to do it. He just said he'd love to do it. And we met many years ago, and we decided that we would work together one day, and so this was our chance to do that.
That's great. One thing, Ivan, and your fascination with the road movies or roads or landscape like that comes from, I guess Australia is, I don't know, my idea
Mm,
of Australia is very romanticized with deserts and roads and infinite landscape.
yeah, well,
There's
that's
no
what it's
end.
like. Yeah, I grew up in the country, and I feel more at peace in the country, and I think my films reflect that, a sense of that as well. But in saying that, I do, I just have some respect for the power of place. Really, I like if I was to make a film in the middle of a city, I also put weight on that location, and because I do believe that we are products of our environment, and that power of that place is very important in who we are. And so for me, the location is always very important, and I always start my scripts from the location. I I, I wrote this film based on this location at Coober Pedy.
And I would like to know if you were mentioning you hope that this film educate the ignorant people in the world. No, kind of. But yeah, you're giving voice to a community that has been silenced.
Mm.
And so how do you see that?
Well, when I first started, there were very few Indigenous filmmakers, but now there's more and more. So there's a lot more there's a lot more work being made by Indigenous directors and writers, and so it's probably less pressure for me to worry about. But yeah, I think we have been represented by white people for many years on screen, and that representation has really created cliches, and so Australian people really feel like they know Indigenous people through the movies they have seen over the many years, but just in the last 15, 20 years, Indigenous filmmakers have started to tell their own stories and to show their own perspective, and also to add to Australian screen identity, And but the problem is that to add to our national identity, the majority have to accept that, So we're still chipping away at that.
One last thing, I don't understand how they can throw out there a referendum to ask if Indigenous people should be included in the Constitution. That is unquestionable. I don't understand how can they ask the question. It's obvious, so it's legal to do that, I guess. It's like, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it was just a baby step, to reconciliation, but they didn't even want to do the baby step, There was a lot of fear mongering by the right wing, and the right wing media. So that
propaganda.
helped. Yeah, so the right wing media helped tip the scales, But in saying that, the scales shouldn't be that easy to tip,
Yeah. So just you mentioned that you wanted to you might be directing something more commercial. Do you have anything boiling in the kitchen or?
Yeah, I'm starting to dip my toes into the horror genre, and also and pure action film.
Cool.
But with Indigenous characters as well. But yeah, just purely, I want to see what happens.
That's great. Experiment a little, no? And
And very strongly hit that genre, those genre elements, just very directly, and not trying to be clever, just like dressing up an art movie, not arty genre. I mean genre.
Yeah.